Hello everyone, Fertility Journals here. Today we are going to have the really insightful conversation about diet and IVF. If you are new to the IVF process, or you are about to undergo another cycle, or you are just trying to find out more information about diet and its effect on IVF, then I am more than happy to share with you my experience with it as I navigated my 12 IVF cycles. If you're new to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe and join the family. I decided to start this YouTube channel as a way to motivate, educate, and inspire others in the same way that I received the same when I was undergoing my infertility journey. I did access a lot of YouTube videos and do a lot of research. And so I hope that I could be a little bit of a voice in this community as we support each other undergoing this process. So let's get right to it. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experiences with diet and infertility, what worked for us, and some tips and suggestions. So stay tuned. The first thing I did when I was undergoing my IVF cycles was do a lot of research to just find out what others in the community were talking about when it comes to diet and IVF. And what I did find out was that there was a lot of conversation about, cleansing your body, making sure that it's right, eating the right foods, and this was going to be good for mindset, having the right perspective, and just feeling as if your body is ready for IVF. Part of the process of preparing your body for IVF. There was some conversation, even though it's not yet been authenticated or proven, that when you eat a lot of the processed foods, that it does affect your ability to be able to really have a successful cycle, because everything is about biology and your eggs. And so there was also conversations I saw on YouTube from other folks undergoing infertility who did really emphasize about the importance of not having preservatives, trying to get away from a Western diet into a more wholesome diet. Even though that was not proven 100% to be the reason that IVF works, that was the path that I chose, I think, for my mental well-being and for me to just be wholesome. I decided to go with that. I believed in it. And one of the reasons I believed in it strongly is because I do have an African background, and in a lot of the women in Africa do not have a lot of reproductive issues, at least in my experience and in my family, and are having babies later in life. And I did have conversations with my family members about diet and what they were eating versus what we eat in the Western diet. And so there was a part of me that felt it was important to make sure at least that I was doing the right thing. So what I did was I threw everything out of my refrigerator that was processed. Yes, guys, I threw everything out that was processed. And I made a decision that in our household, my husband and I were going to eat organic food. And so we have a farmer's market and where I live, and so I got organic food, and that's just what I went with. I had no problem with the taste of it, or because I'm just used to organic food, having grown up in Africa anyway. And so it was really just going back to my roots, and so that's what I did. Now, I do also want to share with you that what I discovered about diet and IVF is that typically the eggs you produce in each cycle are created 3 months before you start that cycle. So those are the eggs retrieved. So I'll repeat that for those of you that may not know. The eggs you retrieve in a particular cycle are the result of eggs that were produced 3 months prior to that. So in looking at my successful IVF cycle that led to a day 5 embryo that was tested genetically normal, when I looked 3 months prior to that, I was actually having a lot of organic food. So in my mind, I do want to say, and I do want to share with you that that's just a part of my experience with it. And I do think that if you have been thinking about changing your diet into more wholesome foods, that it may be worth it for you to consider that. The other proven methods that I feel were really, really fundamental when it comes to the conversations of diet and IVF are actually two most important books. So if you are undergoing IVF, you're thinking about a new cycle, you're new to it, I recommend that you purchase these two books. This really helped me, and a lot of the fertility community has talked about them. The first book is by Rebecca Fett. It starts with the egg, how the science of egg quality can help you get pregnant naturally, prevent miscarriage, and improve your odds at IVF. I loved this book because it did talk about the importance of biology. You know, we are what we eat, right? And so this Rebecca really shares about her experience. She is a little bit younger, so I do think that her egg quality was a lot better than probably somebody who has age-related infertility, who's looking in their 40s, right? Because when you have 40-plus-year-old eggs, it's going to be a little bit different. But I do think that Rebecca has a point in terms of, you know, your diet and what you eat and how you have to be careful about that, because it can help you, you know, through this process. And so I definitely recommend reading this book again if you have it. If you have not heard of it, I think that is a really, really helpful book. The second book that I would recommend that really helped me through my process, this was more therapeutic. It was Chinese medicine, just learning about you know, some of those traditional Chinese remedies when it comes to infertility, is the Tao of Fertility. This is by Dr. Tao. He actually has wonderful advice about getting back to your natural self and sense of well-being when it comes to the IVF process and fertility process. A healing Chinese medicine program to prepare body, mind, and spirit for a new life. I love this because I feel that it's really, really important, guys, when you are going through an IVF cycle, that you have the right mindset. Your body is rooting for you, is working for you. Your mind has to be right. And so I really relied heavily on this book. If you don't have it, I recommend getting it. It's a wonderful, quick read. And it also helps you on the pathway to, you know, the pathway to baby. You know how I told you guys, my husband and I had this difficult conversation early on about what I would be open to with regards to pathway for baby. And Dr. Tao also does talk about that in this book. What happens when your body is communicating to you a different path for baby and what that means. For us, our pathway to baby, if genetic child did not work, was a donor egg, was the next pathway for us. But I could not possibly have been open to the idea of motherhood had I not had resources like this. So I do recommend this book as well in terms of when you're looking at mind, body, and spirit, your diet and IVF, and obviously your well-being. And so guys, that's actually what was my experience. Overall, at the end of the day, even though I can't with 100% certainty say that changing my diet led to success at the age of 44, giving birth at 45 with my own egg, that diet was really instrumental in that. You know, I can't 100% say that. However, what I can tell you is how I felt, how I walked into every cycle with a mindset that was clear. I felt rejuvenated, I felt energized, and in my experience, I do think that what I put into my body probably helped us, was a part of that whole, you know, story. So and if anything, when you eat right, you feel right, your body responds really well, you're healthy, so you prevent other things from getting in the way of your infertility journey, particularly if it's a long one. So that I can say for sure is that when you take care of yourself and you take care of your body, then what you're doing is you're preventing any illnesses or things from happening to you that may prevent you as you undergo your IVF journey. And so if anything, I will say what you eat matters, and you are what you eat. And that is really, really important when you're undergoing the miracle journey of IVF. So I know I probably missed something. Have you guys heard of anything related to diet and its contributions towards IVF? If so, let's just have a conversation. Please go ahead and share that in the comments below. I'd love to hear anything that you guys have heard, and maybe there's somebody that you could also impact just by leaving a comment. Thank you for watching, guys. Until my next video. Bye.